What's up, everyone? My name is Denise, and you are watching and or listening to my new show called That K-Pop Talk. Now, I will let you in on a little secret. Well, it's not a little secret. I'm not supposed to be doing the podcast today. I'm actually not supposed to be doing this podcast until January. But your boy RM dropped this beautiful album, and I had to come on here to talk about it. I had to talk about it. So I am here today, and I'm not even going to go into the regular flow of what my podcast is supposed to be like, because under normal circumstances, I'm supposed to talk about K-pop news, then go into the topic of today, and then do my K-pop vibe segment, commentary, opinions, and then wrap the show, right? It'll be about 45 minutes. But today, it's not going to be 45 minutes. It's going to be a little bit less than that because I'm just going to talk on one topic today, and that's REM. That's all I need to talk about today. I mean, I had to come on here a month early to let you know that you need to go listen to REM. That's right. You need to go listen to Kim Namjoon, former AKA Rap Monster, current AKA RM, leader of the Bangtan Boys, BTS, right? You need to go listen to his album because it's all that in a bag of chips and then some. Like 10 of the most prolific tracks that you will be listening to for a long time. But this is a timeless masterpiece. And it's art. It's like he said from his second tracks, it's still life, right? So I'm going to go into his music real quick, and then I'll let you decide. And you can always leave a comment on my YouTube or on my Spotify, or you can email me actually at thatkpoptalk@gmail.com to give me your suggestions or anything you want the show to be about, and also to comment on today's episode, okay? So let's get into it. So RM, known as Kim Namjoon, to preface this by saying, his life has led up to this point. And I'm going to say this by saying that when he was born in 1994. When he was younger, he was a poet, right? And he was a poet without the music. And so he learned how to put poetry to music, and he found out that that was called rap. And he researched what rap was. And throughout his junior high and high school years, that's what he did. And he even auditioned for a rap group, but he didn't make it. But his luck was soon to turn around because someone from Big Hit was there, and they ran back and told Big Hit about RM, and then they encouraged him. They got back in contact with him, the people from Big Hit, and told him to audition for them, and he made it. Now, here's the thing. His parents didn't know. He had to tell his parents. And RM has an IQ 148. So if your son or daughter has an IQ 148, what do you want them to do? Go to school, right? Okay, I'm going to get to that later. Just hold that thought. So RM wanted to tell his parents and told his parents that he didn't want to go to school. He wanted to be a rapper. That's what he wanted to do. So his parents granted him his wish, and he became a rapper. It was him, J-Hope, and Sugar, the three rappers. And then they will eventually add V, Jim, and Jungkook, and Jin later, which they will all become BTS. But he was one of the first people to get into the group of BTS. Okay, so I'm saying this as to say he has always been an integral part of BTS. He and Sugar and J-Hope, they have produced a lot of the songs. They have written a lot of the songs. But, you know, RM really was the backbone. Again, he's the leader of BTS. Now, before this album, he has produced other stuff, right? I remember he had a song with the American rapper Wale. He had a song with him. And then I remember his song Moonchild, Forever Rain. So there's another song too, I can't remember, but those songs were so good. Like, they were so good. So when we're talking about the new album. This he had mixtapes in the past, but this will be his first album that is his and that he released without BTS, and it is so much of a masterpiece. He did an interview. I can't remember which interview it was. I believe it was with Zach Zang, and I'm gonna post his interviews that he has up in my description box on my YouTube, because I feel that you need to look at the interviews and experience who RM is for yourself. But he was telling him, he was asking, do you mumble? Do you write it on a notepad? Do you put it on your phone? And he said, no, I have a building block, a foundation into which I start my songs and my poetry of my songs. And then I build upon that, like, like architecture. And so I could see that methodical writing, that methodical process in each one of his songs. I also know that he says that he likes to chronicle his life. And if you go to his Instagram, it's RKIVE, which means archive, like you archive in your life. And Indigo, which is his album, is about his mid to late 20s, like all of his latter 20s. And it's an archive of those collections of thoughts and feelings and things he went through in the latter 20s. In Korean terms, their Korean age is different from ours. So even though he was born in 94, and technically in 2023, he should be turning 29. In Korean age, they bump him up, so he would be 30, if that makes sense to you guys, because Korean age and American age are different. So anyways, he said this is his chronicling. He is taking chronicles of his life in his last 20s, okay? So with that being said, when I listen to his words of everything that he has gone through, right, I can relate to him in some type of way, because not all his songs are happy songs. Some of his songs, he is being very vulnerable to who he is as a person. And he is being very humble in that vulnerability, right? He's not being vulnerable to brag about it. He's not being vulnerable for you to feel sorry for him. He's being vulnerable to say, this is me. And he even said in the interview that either he will rather have you love his album or hate his album. But if you are lukewarm, he doesn't want that. Because if you love or hate, those are two emotions, two passionate emotions that he evoked out of you. And that's what he wants you to do, is feel, really feel emotion. And he got that out of me because I love the album. Not hate, but love. Okay, so his album came out on December 2nd, and he started off with the single Wildflower, right? And the girl who sings the hook, her name is Eugene, sounds just like the American artist Alanis Morissette. If you listen to it, you will fall in love. Everyone I played it for, no matter what genre of music they normally listen to, love that song. So if you have time, you haven't seen it yet, go watch that music video, Wildflower, and then also listen to it on your social media platforms. You will, I'm telling you, will fall in love with the song. But one of the lyrics really struck me when he was coming into the bridge. It says, pause and turn out to be glorious barefooted. Nothing was ever meant to be mine. And don't, this is the line right here, and don't tell me like you gotta be someone, because I'll never be like them. Don't tell me like you gotta be someone, because I'll never be like them. Yeah, my start was poetry, my one and only strength and dream that protected me so far. You remember I said he started off as a poet. And here he's saying, my one and only strength and dream that protected me so far. Yeah, my start was poetry. He's letting us know his life. He's letting us know that me being a poet, that's the thing that protected me. Me being real with who I am innately was meant to be, that's protecting me. My authentic self is protecting me. And that struck home. If you are your authentic self. That protects you because you're real. You're not fake. You're not someone you're not trying to be. And when people are someone they're not trying to be, they're not happy. And he's saying, you can't make me be someone I don't want to be, because I want to be happy. I want to be authentically me. And that poetry is protecting me because that's who I was. So I really, really looked at this and I was like, wow. And he said, no name, that's what I have. No shame, I'm on my grave. He said, I'm mere human. I'm mere dust. This is what I am. I'm fame. What's that? I just want to be authentically me. I don't want fame to get to me. And for me, that touched me. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to cry. Like, R.E.M., I'm here for you, boo. I'm here for you, boo boo. Like, you are the man. And that was the first music video from his album, right? And like I said, the girl Eugene, her voice is phenomenal. Sounds like Alanis Morissette. Okay, so the second one is Still Life, right? Still Life is, he released that video a couple of days ago, and that's the one with Anderson .Paak is on it as well. He wasn't in the video. I wish he was, but he wasn't. But the video was still beautiful. And R.E.M. said in the interview that this was like if you were to take a picture of something that's still alive, and centuries later someone looks at that picture, the picture, the person or the thing in the picture is still alive, but it's alive within the stillness of the frame, of the paper that it's on. And that in itself was an artistic way of saying what art is. You know, it doesn't matter. It's still live years later. And so I really, really, really do love that second single. And it's a happy song, you know. His album really isn't a song that you want to go to the club and groove with, but it's one of those calming type albums, you know what I'm saying? You're coasting, you know. And he said it has a lot of different colors, and it does. It has a lot of slightly different variations in the genres of music that is in this album, but it's collectively hitting a chord on different emotions that we all can relate to. Personally, my song Hectic is my favorite. My song Hectic, I love that song. And there's a visualizer on that one. And I think on the other one called Number 2, there's a visualizer on that one as well. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't heard his song Wildflower, go listen to it. If you haven't heard his song Still Life, go listen to it. If you haven't heard any of his songs in this album, he has a collaboration with every single song except for one. Again, his artistic mind coming into play. The song is called, guess what? Lonely. So why would he have a collab on a song called Lonely? That's why he didn't have a collab on that song. So that's where he's coming from. And another thing about R.E.M. is when he said back in the Festa, because R.E.M. is the third person from Bangtan Boys, BTS, who has released a solo project. He did say back in the Festa, and for those of you who do not know what a Festa is, when a group debuts, right, the anniversary of that debut date is a year later, right, on that same day. And they have what they call a festas. When they sit down, they have a V-Live and they celebrate that particular debut date every year with the fans. And on the 9th festa, it was in June, R.E.M. said that he was trying to work on this album for the past 4 years, but he couldn't because he was too busy doing BTS activities, and he really wanted to work on it. And you can see the frustration in his face because he loves BTS so much, but he really wanted to get his album done. And I think they knew that Jin was going to go into the military, or they were contemplating it at that time. So therefore, the hiatus was announced. That doesn't mean BTS is breaking up. They're not breaking up. It's just that it will give them an opportunity to work on their solo projects, and as well as figure out what they're going to do with the military, which now we know where they're going in. And it gave a relief to each one of them to be themselves. And really, they are themselves. I can close my eyes right now on any song and can tell you who sang what and who's rapping and what, because they're very distinctive and they all gel together and collectively as one, and you can still tell the individual parts from each other when they sing and rap in their songs. So R.M., when he said that he was working on his album for 4 years, and now to be able to finally breathe and release that album, that speaks volumes. Like, he is not running around hyper and saying my album's out, my album. No, he's very calm. And when he did the Tiny Desk, if I'm gonna link that below again, he did the Tiny Desk series, and he went back and did some of his old songs I was telling you about. I think it was Soul. He performed Soul at the Tiny Desk series, and then he went back and performed a couple of songs from his new album. You know, I was like, good for you that you're still performing your older songs and you're still promoting that along with your newer songs. So I really feel that this is an album that you guys need to listen to. It gives you a better understanding of who RM is and what relation he has to BTS. And it gives me it just has me giving RM another level of respect, right? He does have a lot on his plate, but he is so talented because he not only is a rapper, he's also a producer, he's also a songwriter. He is part of the Musical Association of Songwriters in Korea. You may hear my air conditioning come on, so if you hear the static, that's what it is. But I really, really, really feel that RM has a very bright future ahead of him with BTS, and also as a solo artist and as producing and writing for other people. He's just phenomenal, and this piece of art is just breathtaking. I do want to say one other thing before I wrap up, and that is I got the chance, and I'm gonna link it below with you guys too, to see his live performance at, I think it's called Dia Beacon, DIA Beacon, and that's in New York. And just watching that performance was like watching art just walking art, going through the museum when he was performing. The cinematography was breathtakingly beautiful. Like, it was just so moving and energetic to see him do what he does. It was unlike any other artistic performance. The only person I can compare RM to right now, to be honest with you, is Solange, Beyonce's sister, because she does a lot of stuff in the art field, and she goes to these museums, and she has these art installations using dancers, and it's just a whole nother level of combining art with music. And that's what RM does. Hey, who you never know. RM may collab with Solange one day. That's an idea. Okay, you guys, I am going to wrap up my podcast right now. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my very first podcast. Like I said, I do apologize. This is not my normal format, but I had to come on here and just give RM his praises on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful album of his. And like I said, it's just a masterpiece all the way through. All 10 pieces, I listen to it day in and day out, and I encourage you to do the same. Again, my name is Denise. You're listening to That K-Pop Talk. Please click like and subscribe on my YouTube. Follow me also on my Spotify. And I also started a Patreon because I do other things. Like I watch K-pop dramas. I mean, not K-pop. I watch K-dramas as well. I'm watching a show called Somebody right now. And I also am into Korean food. I love that too as well. So I do give behind the scenes and video of what I do when I watch the videos and stuff. I do have reactions. I'm just not going to put it on my podcast, but if you want to watch me do reactions to these videos and talk about and watch me eat Korean food and see what I eat as far as Korean food and also the K-dramas, please follow me on my Patreon. We also will start live chats on my Patreon where we will have different subjects and we will chat with each other. So I will have that link below. In the meantime, annyeonghaseyo, which is hello, but now is annyeonghaseyo or annyeonghaseyo, which means goodbye. So you guys have a nice night, and I will talk to you guys next Thursday on my next K-pop podcast called That K-Pop Talk.